Now, this code works great, meaning that it's loading the data, but right now it's basically for testing purposes. This is not ready for production, meaning that if I had to have a web page go after it, I couldn't use the code the way it is. This is just a test of theory. Now, what we want to do is create a data access object that will actually run this guy in the background, but it looks nicer to look at and nicer to manage. So we want to give this code some structure that, I can call it and it's reusable, to a certain degree. Okay. So two things I want to talk about here is we're going to talk about the new classes that you have in the shape jar, the shape template jar. And one of them is the model. And I will move this model over here for a second, double click here to increase it. And let's bring Excel back. Now, when we use Excel, we're going to be doing this. I have a field that represents an index, a name, a value. So I'm going to map it to, when I say index, I'm sorry, it just should have been a row index. I'm actually talking about this value here. Okay, well, let me see. Yeah, I want to go after this value here because this is a unique identifier. So even though I named it row, maybe I should have called it index, but I wanted to go after the unique value. This will go after the shape name. This will contain the shape name, and this list will represent these three items. So this is basically a fancy array that will contain all access to three items. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to convert this so we can use this in Java. Basically, we're going to put it inside of a plain old Java object. We can instantiate the object by doing this portion right here. So this is our model. This model will represent data. So we'll go more in detail in this when we're doing data structures, but this is how we model data in Java. Okay? You look for some data. You use a Java class to represent that data because there is no standard data type that can represent this item right here. So we create our own. I call it geometric shape, contains an index, which I'll put this value here, contains the name of the shape, which will be this value right here, and then it has values, which are these three values. Again, I could have said value 1, value 2, value 3, but let's say I had 5 values. Would I do a value 4, value 5? I think that's too much work. So let's just make it an array. Array or a list of doubles. This is the constructor that will populate the items here. And then we have just getters and setters. So if you've taken another Java class, you would have heard this term getters and setters. So our next goal is to populate all that data and put it into this object so we have access to it. That's the goal. Okay, we'll continue in the next video. With that, good luck and good coding.